Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Star Frontiers Gamer. And we have another Frontiersman Friday, number 6. So we will be reviewing issue number 6 of the Star Frontiersman. This numbering sequence is getting rather easy. It'll be good up until 25, and then we do something different. So here we have issue number 6, Star Frontiersman. And I believe we're getting down to one of the last issues that was edited by Bill Logan. Yes, Bill Logan. So, and we have an interesting little mystery going on with this, and I will show that to you. The first article is Sentient Robots. I would say misnomer. It should be sapient robots. Sentient is robots that feel, and sapient means having wisdom. That it's not that they necessarily feel emotions, but they have wisdom. They have risen to a point of knowledge where they are gaining wisdom. But that's a small little nitpicky thing that I'm on about. At any rate, this is about introducing improved AI to robots, and it introduces a couple of things. And I like this Squatto robot. It's kind of a centaur. It's a Star Law robot that was introduced. Another great Bill Logan. You know, he was really good at doing these schematic kind of illustrations, and the Frontier benefited from having his art available. Maintenance, logical considerations. Now, I just never went here and used these, so I've not play tested these rules at all, and I can't really go yay or nay on them. But if you're interested in having a player character robot, then these are a potential rule system for you. Now, we're coming up on the mystery, so let's just go back and let's look at these articles. Sentient Robots, Starship, the East Indiaman medium freighter, and a Nighthawk scenario by Bill Logan. And then we get the Prengular system brief. Yeah, let's just scroll back past we go straight from Sentient Robots into Prengular system. There's something missing. Well, the thing that's missing is the East Indiaman article, and that was a reprint of material from Ares Into the Void module. This Into the Void module was Ares 15, and it presented a deck plan of a ship, the East Indiaman deck plan, and it had this whole adventure based on this ship while the ship was going from point A to point B, and the player characters are there for like security. And so what happened is they said, look, let's reprint the deck plan and make it available to people, because you have to run down Ares 15 if you can, and it's not that hard if you're a little bit savvy with the internet. But they said, let's make it this much more readily available. So they reprinted this information from Ares 15. And then come along 2018, the Evil Hat trademark grab, where Evil Hat said, hey, Wizards of the Coast, you failed to renew Star Frontiers. We'll just grab it. We'll reboot it. And Star Frontier said, oh, no, you won't. We're actually making money off of the Frontier. So your trademark claim cannot stand, because we're in commerce selling Star Frontier stuff using those old trademarks. Therefore, so they fought it, and Evil Hat backed off wisely rather than go to court. So that was the trademark grab. And part of the circling of the wagons by the Wizards of the Coast lawyers was they did ask that the Frontier Explorer magazine stop printing. They also asked that any of their IP product that would just reprint of old Dragon material that did end up in the Star Frontiersman, particularly under Larry Moore as editor, but in this case, Bill Logan, that all of this stuff be removed. So Tom Stevens, who was the custodian of the Star Frontiersman at that point, had to go back and slice out these So that's the missing pages in this issue of the Star Frontiersman, is this East Indiaman from the Ares magazine. So if you're looking for it, that's where it is. You'll have to run it down yourself. The only tragedy here is that obviously a page got cut, which was Bill Logan's Nighthawk's encounter. And that might be something that we do in the future is run down a copy of issue 6 that somebody downloaded prior to this slice and dice that happened, and get that encounter and then maybe republish it in the fan magazine. So we'll just recover this lost Nighthawks scenario by Bill Logan. So that might be a project for the future, a little bit of internet archaeology, maybe, whatever we want to call it. A blast from the past. We'll recover this lost material and republish it, make it available, because that certainly did not need to be cut because of the IP issues. It was written by Bill Logan. So moving right along, we have Prengular, the first of 2 system briefs in this issue. So it's Prengular, and it's I like these system briefs, and then I'm like, I don't always trust them. And the reason why I don't always trust them is was that author as anal as I am about finding every last piece of scrap somewhere in the canon material? And I don't know. So that's why I don't trust them, and I want to just do a fresh look at it. But what's interesting here is that there's places of interest. Galwin Academy, that's already been established within the canon. Sanctuary Station. He named the rest and relaxation station, the recreational station, space station, dedicated, the resort station that's in this system. And they named it Sanctuary Station. I don't know if that's the name I would have named it, but it works. So here's a little blurb on something that's never been detailed before, that we just know that there was a resort space station in the system. And so here it now gets a name in this, and to me that's an interesting takeaway. That's a little piece of fan canon. And so that was an interesting item to note in this particular thing, that there are some details that they looked at and said, all right, let's name that thing. And so I always appreciate that. Now we come down to this first Sathar War. And this is by Mark Singleton up here. But the byline is Dr. Heglin Kalzid. So this is a character in setting presenting this lecture, on the first Sathar War. Now, there's a fair amount to read here, but honestly, you get the whole sense of it with the last paragraph. So let's read that. In summary and conclusion, the Great War involved much less than 1/4 of the frontier population. It spanned only 4 systems and devastated only 3 planets. Wild gambles were taken and assumptions were made that paid off in the end. The Sathar did not employ consistent tactics and often appeared to alter them in mid-stride. We have no way of knowing what the Sathar did after their final defeat at Prengular. But it is clear that they have not left us alone. I don't think we won the war. I think we simply ended the first phase of a larger plan. The Sathar will return, but when and from where? ... So that's the conclusion of this article. And basically they analyze how much of the population of the frontier is involved. They point out correctly, 4 systems were attacked, 3 planets were devastated. So it's a good article. It's a fluff article. And if you're already to that place of the second Sathar War, you're already in the second Sathar War after it in the timeline. This is, ancient history. But so it's an interesting article if you want to dig into this more. And it can be something that would be fruitful for you if you're playing a period in time in the frontier where the second Sathar War is future. So you then go to the calling it the Great Sathar, the Great War, or the Great Sathar War. But you would have this kind of material being what NPCs are talking about, because you're playing a game where suddenly the Sathar are coming back. So it becomes a little bit of a foreshadowing. So this is good material for that. But if you're trying to run that kind of a game, you can just come here and lift paragraphs right out of here for NPCs to be concerned about. And, saves you time. Now, this is Planet of Mystery. It's the Volturnus series again, where they're really looking at it, but they're introducing a completely new sapient species to the Volturnus system. And their justification is that the Enora had great genetic manipulation technology. Hence the fact that they genetically manipulated 3 sapient species to be their replacement species, where they had come to the conclusion that they were a dying species. What are we going to do? We're going to evolve 3 species, maybe choose one of them to be our successor. So, and that's what's going on with the Almor, the Kurabunga, the Descatai species. And you also, usually it's just determined to be by mistake, the Mechnon species evolved more than likely because of programming that was in place that caused these robots to evolve to a place of sapience. And now you've got a caste in charge of the rest of the Mechnon civilization. I would not look at all Mechnon robots as being sapient, but certainly they're the brain robots, the guys at the top are. But so now you've got, from one planet, you've got the Enora sapient species, 3 uplifted species that they've evolved, and the robots that somehow accidentally evolved themselves. And now we're going to add a 6, these Arborians. So I've always discounted this because I think it's too much. But the concept is sound based off of the Enora, what we know about them. It seems like a balanced species to me. They cannot fly, but they can glide. They have comprehension like the verse. So it's kind of a mishmash of the core 4. We've got the gliding from the Azarians. We've got the comprehension from the verse. And then their third special ability is sharp eyesight, which halves all, it cuts in half all penalties for range bands, for long range. So this makes them a shooter. Your archetype is the shooter, the sniper, the duelist, something along those lines. They're very much a potential species for being the shooter. This is the guy who's Clint Eastwood with the hat and the sheepskin vest, type of thing, and they're very much that. So I don't like them. I'm not into them because I think there's too many species being introduced just on one planet, and so I'm like, I ignore them. But they're definitely valid, and they might be something you'd be interested in. Next, we get to ability score limits, and the idea behind this is that the hard fast limit for ability scores is 100. So, but they then pose the question: well, a Azarian that takes a hit on his strength can go to 100, and that's the max for a Dralocyte that takes a bonus on their hunt. So what they're trying to do here with this article is they're taking the racial ability score bonuses and they apply them to that upper limit. So if your species takes a -5 to strength and stamina, your upper limit in strength and stamina is 100 -5. That's the basic idea here. And I think it's a good idea. It's not something I've ever needed, because just not had a campaign that went on long enough for somebody to keep jacking their EXP in there to bump their thing up to 100. And I don't even know that I would pursue that myself unless I was doing a Dralocyte martial artist and I simply wanted the maximum number of limbs that I could generate so that I could have 5 arms, 5 legs, and therefore 5 hand-to-hand attacks. So I just walk up and smack the crap out of somebody with all those limbs. That would be the case where I would set the goal of we're getting to 100 here. So I don't know that it's necessary, but it's an easy enough rule to remember. You just 100 and plus or minus whatever the racial ability score modifiers are, and that is your new top number. So it's easy enough. I don't know if you can hear the cat, but she's being a pain in the butt. Excuse me. So the other interesting thing here is the author was very thorough. They didn't just do tables for the core 4, core 5 in this case. They've listed the Sathar, but they've also included the, from the Zebulon's Guide, and then every other creature that has been introduced so far in the Star Frontiersman up to this point. And you're looking at this list, there's been a lot introduced. In 6 issues of the Star Frontiersman, it was like every issue they're introducing a new species. Plus, they've also gone so far as to dig up the 3 from the Dragon magazine, the Sesu, the Zethra, the Saurians. So this author was thorough, and I always appreciate it when somebody is thorough. They've done this information for you, so you don't have to do it. There's the table. Shades of Motion. I've not play tested this. So for caveat right up front. Now, this is predicated on the idea of how do you mix aerospace fighters, which might fall under regular Alpha Dawn vehicle movement rules, with Nighthawks. And it was an attempt to be able to transition between one and the other, where you might have an aerospace fighter that's taking off from a planet and then transitions to space and is now involved in a Nighthawks. And it was also intended to add, changing scale on the fly, and then third dimension of flight. So they wanted to add, Nighthawks is in 2D, but they wanted to add a third dimension. And so it was new rules for that. And here's what I know about Nighthawks. I like the game as it is. And the reason being is I tried the vectored movement, which will turn up in a later Star Frontiersman, which was an attempt to have real, the ship has momentum, so it flips, and now it was to mimic real space physics and not be very Star Trek-y, ship just turns because it's warp. I don't know. It was an attempt to be more realistic with real space physics. And I play tested that one. And I just decided, you know what, Nighthawks let's just go simple. Keep it simple, stupid. And so I have largely ignored the vector rules and these rules, and I've just played Nighthawks the way it's presented in the rules for simplicity. Yeah, we know that's not how movement in space works. We got that. For simplicity, it's a game. We're here to have fun. We want to play the game. That's my take on this. I am not trying to poop on it per se. But if you're interested in saying, look, no, let's have 3D combat, even when I play Wings of War, Wings of Glory, which is World War I, biplane, triplane combat war game, I don't care that we don't have 3D combat. We just do it in 2D and we have a lot of fun, and it's a great game, and we're there to enjoy it, and we just enjoy it. And so that's my take. Not to poop on this article. It might be something you're interested in. I just kind of, whatever. New equipment. All right. Displacement screen. The displacement screen is that bracelet thing that Arnold Schwarzenegger was wearing in the Total Recall, that displaced, the light beams were displaced to, 6 meters away. And then, the bad guys would shoot at him, and they were always shooting empty space. And so that's what this item is. I'm not that excited about it. The Sector 6 small arm, the wind-up firearm single shot, I just I don't know. I just looked at it and thought it was stupid. I've totally ignored it ever since first reading it. And I just reread it and I'm like, yeah, I still think it's dumb. So it's the only thing about it is that it's made of resin. It doesn't use it, you can't detect it with a scanner if you're detecting for explosives or gunpowder or anything like that. It's just a wind-up gun. The springs fire the projectile. I doubt that that's enough energy to do this, but there it is. Maybe you'll like it. I just think it's dumb. Now, Detangler Harness. This is a good idea. This is a good idea for the NPC baddie. The players have been getting a little too chummy with the Detangler grenades, so suddenly NPC bad guys need a Detangler harness, I think. Great idea for the game master. And then a hollow field scrambler. Maybe the player characters are getting a little too cheeky using the hollow fields. So NPC bad guy with a hollow field scrambler, woohoo! Suddenly things get a little bit dicey. Suddenly the plan goes in the toilet for the player characters, not for the game master. So I definitely endorse these two items. I think they're a great addition. Guna Garu from Yazarian Space, another system brief. And the person who wrote this, Scott Danger Nelson. I don't know him. And but I don't know who this is, and I don't recognize this name from the forums. This could be a Bill Logan alt, where he's trying to keep the magazine from looking like he wrote the whole thing. But Scott, if you're out there, drop me a line, say hello. I'd love to meet you. Not to throw you under the bus here, right? So fairly thorough article. They cover the history, they cover the people. I love this. Notable personages. That's the extra stuff. People doing the extra stuff, so I don't have to do it as a busy game master. Love that. Places of interest, and he created some stuff, things we never heard about, the Tulio mines, so on and so forth. Other items of note. Then we get down. So this is a great thing. Again, my suspicion, but I know that there's not a lot of canon material on Hargut / Guna Garu. So I tend to trust this one a little bit more because there's less chasing down of little crumbs of canon material throughout all the publications. I just happen to know that Guna Garu, Hargut, it's one of those systems where there's just not a lot out there. And what there is there. So they probably covered it all. Next, if you remember last issue, we had the city tiles. You get some more of it. It's 2 pages, as a matter of fact, which means you can print this as a 1 page and cut it out, and then you'll have 2-sided tiles. Circle of Fate. Circle of Fate, first piece of fiction in the early Star Frontiersman. Circle of Fate, and let you read that yourself. No spoilers. Sector 6. Remember we had the Sector 6 firearm, and I pooped on that. Well, Sector 6 is a organization for running games. It's kind of like Star Law, but it's a mercenary outfit that has the mission of, we know the Sathar are bad. We know they're out there. We know they're coming back. It's like Spooky Mulder. We know they're out there, from X-Files type of thing. So it's kind of an X-Files non-governmental, quasi-governmental organization. And their mission is to hunt down the Sathar. I think it's unnecessary because you already got Star Law, and that's their mission: hunt down Sathar agents, interstellar criminals, presumably the Sathar, interdict Sathar technology in its various forms. So I think this is unnecessary, but it's here if you want something, is to run a game. They give you a sample character. The artwork was great. Here illustrated by Chad Sergis Ketter. I'm probably just hashing his name, but the art, wow. artwork on there is really nice. Nice and detailed. This is the debut of this new map. So I have this map as a poster. There we go. You can see it a little bit better now. This is done as a poster, and I don't think you can print from this. To print like that, I don't think you're going to get it from this page. And if I put a link in the show notes to where you can locate it, because I thought it was in one location, it turned out it was not there. And so then I was looking other places, and it's looking like a deep dive. So on the page 2 here is a new map for a new age. This guy Daryl C.L. Donald did it, and so there's some notes here, so you can actually you can consult his notes, things he was thinking about as he was working this. And important here is number 2 is Donald's reach, because Donald's reach is way up just beyond the frontier. And he says in here that was basically him putting his fingerprint on the map. So if you want that Donald's reach information, there it is. And because honestly, I was using the map for a long time, and I'm like, what the hell is this Donald's reach? I know of nothing, and eventually I got the answer. So buying and selling is just an expansion of, haggling, taxation, slavery, black market. And it's just an article to cover all of that, because it's not just about going into your local Pan-Galactic Corporation showroom and dropping 25 credits and I want that. So this was an article for expanding the underground market, smuggling, slavery, junk dealers, other options. We then get some more. Some of these are recycled. Actually, I believe they're all recycled. Equipment illustrations writ large on one page, and then the classifieds. And again, the classifieds are fun. We got another Torita and Gorko back and forth classified here, and just other things going on. Inertia dampeners, things that you can cut and use as a news item on the news nets, or maybe this is something an NPC is talking about. So these are great, and I would just print this page, hole punch it, and put it in the notebook. As I need something on the fly, I can tear it out and hand it to the players. There you go. So this is Star Frontiersman number 6. I have a couple items I need to research the location of the map that will let you print a decent poster, because you know how it is. You blow something up, it gets all pixelated, and clearly I did not print from something that was pixelated. So there's a bit of research there for me. And then that missing Nighthawks encounter that got trimmed out when they were cutting out the IP material that had been reprinted in here from the Ares magazine. So there will be some research on my part, and I will work on those, and I will see what I can do to get you the map and have that in the show notes before this turns up. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. This is Tom, Star Frontiers Gamer, and I will see you in the frontier.